Dozens of people attend a town hall on extortions.
It's very astonishing to me. I mean, it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody.
Police admit there are nearly 24 active cases, and so far, no arrests.
This thing shows that there's a fear among community.
Plus, a plaque honoring the Calgary victims of a mass killing is stolen.
It's just like a kick in the gut to see that it was gone.
As police investigate, parents of the Brentwood Five hope thieves have a change of heart. And as Canadian athletes get a big cheer in Milan,
I was kind of hoping to see a little bit more like fan zones here.
Will these low-key, super spread-out games still create a buzz?
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Extortion threats have many Calgarians on edge and thinking twice before answering the phone. Police say the crime is growing with dozens of cases now under investigation, including several involving gunfire. Last night, victims, community leaders and law enforcement came together in the Northeast searching for answers and action. Here's Mark Villani.
It's a phone call that gave this Calgary man nightmares. An international number reached him over WhatsApp, demanding thousands of dollars. CTV News is protecting his identity after threats were made against his child.
They mentioned my younger son, that they have seen him twice. He's a grade 2 kid. It was a little shocking to me, to be honest.
Shocking, but not uncommon. Calgary police are investigating 21 extortion cases, 11 involving shootings. A CPS town hall meeting Thursday night saw more victims of these threats walk through the doors of the Dashmesh Culture Centre. They hope to build trust since many in the South Asian community say they've had bad experiences with police abroad.
Some people are even paying the money that they're not reporting. So we just want the community to come together and let's fight this.
This thing shows that there's a fear among community that is underlying.
But police are urging anyone targeted to report these crimes.
This is public safety priority number 1 for the Calgary Police Service, and it's our job to reassure the community that we are taking each and every complaint that we get seriously.
Complaints often originate from callers claiming to represent the terrorist-labeled Lawrence Bishnoi gang from India. Police say it's gotten so bad in BC's Lower Mainland that some people are even applying for gun licenses and enrolling in gun training to defend themselves.
The number one thing you come to this country is like safety and security, and I strongly feel it's not existing now.
Some cases may also stem from disputes over immigration or work permits, where former employees are allegedly targeting employers for money.
We will take efforts to investigate those individuals, follow our processes to report and to remove them.
Meanwhile, provincial officials say a new task force will target cybercrime, sharing information to trace threats and lay charges.
The types of AI and deepfake videos that are surfacing online, the methods that these scammers and extortionists are employing are becoming more sophisticated.
And victims say real peace won't come until those responsible are held accountable.
Positivity will only come from the action.
And Mark joins us from Redstone tonight. Mark, police have some more tips for community members.
Yeah, that's right, Sarah. Police say the message here is simple. Save everything, report these crimes, and don't pay. They want to make sure that people are doing these things so that they can get as much information as possible to solve these cases. Now, investigators say taking matters into your own hands and engaging with these callers also not recommended. Instead, police say they'll be patrolling areas where people have been targeted in the past. For now, no arrests have been made in any of these extortion cases. Very concerning, but police say they hope to change that. So they'll be strategizing alongside other law enforcement agencies next week for a special meeting on extortion threats in Surrey, BC.
Mark, thank you. A bronze memorial plaque honoring the lives of 5 young Calgarians stabbed in the city's worst mass killing has been stolen. Camilla DiGiuseppe joins us. Camilla, it was the father of one of the Brentwood Five victims who made that disheartening discovery.
Tara, Greg Paris described it like a kick in the gut when he realized the plaque was missing from the Memorial Garden in South Glenmore Park yesterday, which also happened to be his daughter Katie's birthday. She would have been 35. The Kinterra Legacy Garden is a lasting tribute to Katie, Lawrence Hong, Joshua Hunter, Zachariah Rathwell, and Jordan Zagura. They were stabbed to death at a house party in Brentwood in 2014. Matthew DeGood was found not criminally responsible due to an undiagnosed schizophrenia. The plaque was reported stolen yesterday, and police hope CCTV and footage from the area, businesses as well, will pinpoint when and possibly who stole it. Bronze-related thefts have been rising in the past 5 years in Calgary due to the metal's rising value, but police say criminals will have a tough time offloading these expensive yet sentimental items because recyclers will not accept them. Both Paris and police hope whomever stole the memorial plaque will do the right thing.
I came here to relax and actually talk to her in my head. So it's just like a kick in the gut. Maybe they don't know what it is, don't understand. If you realize what it is, just bring it back and put it by the rock and we'll reattach it.
I'm hopeful that whoever took the plaque will realize that the right decision is to turn it in, whether they want to turn it in at a police station or leave it somewhere that we can find it. We'd be happy with any outcome that sees it come back.
And Tara, Greg Paris tells us he is thankful Calgary Police has made a point to talk publicly about the case. Investigators are asking anyone who has information about the plaque or who may have it to contact them or anonymously through Crime Stoppers.
Camilla, thank you. A Calgary man and his wife had their home attacked not once but 4 times in just over a week. They've lived in the community of Renfrew for over 20 years and they are at a loss as to why they're being targeted. They have filed police reports, but at this time officers have no suspects. Kevin Fleming reports.
This video was captured on Wednesday evening when someone walked up to Chris Boucher's home and threw a softball-sized rock through the front window. This is the 4th time his home has been vandalized. The first time it was spray painted on 2 sides.
We're really scared right now. We don't know why we're being targeted. The spray painting had some explicits on it and then another word we couldn't read. It might have been a foreign language. We don't know why this is happening. I lived here for over 20 years. I'm a public servant. My wife blows glass for a living. I don't have enemies. I have lots of friends.
The attacks became more violent and turned from spray paint to throwing rocks through the windows, narrowly missing the people inside.
Whenever I think about what could have happened, I think the worst, and it scares me. I'm scared to my core right now, just thinking of what could have happened to me then.
A few family friends volunteered to watch the house and spotted 2 suspicious people walking towards the home late Saturday night.
He saw 2 men in my front yard right over there, armed with a 4-foot-long 2x4, a large rock, and an 8 to 10-inch knife. My friends then decided to use their vehicle to stop the men from coming into the house.
An altercation ensued and the 2 took off after they smashed the vehicle Boucher's friends were driving.
I've installed 3 cameras, 2 internal facing north and west, and then 1 in the backyard facing west and south, covering that area. I've installed spotlights in the back. My lights are always on. I've installed numerous door stopping mechanisms to prevent any sort of armed assault on my doors again.
All was quiet for 3 days until video captured the rock throwing. Boucher gave the video to the police to try to identify the attackers.
I have a large social network and many of them are volunteering to watch my home because they're fearful based on the pattern something's going to happen again. So I will be having some friends doing a bit of vigilante surveillance for us over the next upcoming week or so.
While Calgary police confirmed they are reviewing the security footage, they are offering no other information about their investigation into the ongoing attacks on this home in Renfrew Crescent Heights. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
The Bouchers say they have a lot of support from friends and family, many of whom are telling them to move. But the couple says they have formed strong bonds in that community and they don't want to go.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
The Milano Cortina Winter Olympics have officially kicked off. And here in Calgary, the Olympic cauldron is now burning. That's part of our connection to the Games. The cauldron was lit at Canada Olympic Park, which was the site of a number of events during the 1988 Games. Canada has sent 207 athletes to these Games, 36 of whom hail from southern Alberta. And for the first time, the opening ceremony was a multi-site event spread across northern Italy. CTV's Scott Hurst has the details now on the celebration of sport, Team Canada, and the first events of the day.
More than 200 Canadian athletes are stepping onto the world stage. Led by flag bearers, Quebec's Michael Kingsbury and BC's Marielle Thompson, both athletes, previous Olympic champions, as Canada's team eyes more podium appearances. The opening ceremony is a stunning display of culture and sport, with the host nation always mixing in its own flavor, and Italy sure has a rich history to show off as Milano Cortina welcomes the world. And for the first time in Olympic history, the ceremony takes place across multiple venues in separate cities in a widespread yet unified event, with San Siro Olympic Stadium in Milan serving as the central hub.
They'll emphasize Italy, naturally. Music, dance, arts, they have a lot to work with.
Even before the pomp and ceremony to officially kick off 17 days of sport and spectacle, Canadian athletes have already begun making their mark. Quebec's Francis Jobin soaring into the Big Air final. He'll have a shot at the podium on Saturday in his Olympic debut. The husband and wife mixed doubles curling team of Jocelyn Peterman and Brett Gallant are now 3-1, winning their first 3 matches before falling to the Americans. And Canadians sit 5th after day 1 of the Olympic figure skating team event. The competition kicks into high gear tomorrow with the first medals being awarded. And after the first match was postponed on Thursday, the Canadian women's hockey team will begin its pursuit of back-to-back Olympic gold medals. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
The Maple Leaf is waving at a Calgary pub ready to help cheer Team Canada to victory at those Winter Olympics. Tops Pizza South is decked out with Canadian flags, golden twinkle lights, giant gold balloons, and a lot of red and white decor. One employee says the aim is to make this a fun, festive spot for Calgarians to cheer on our athletes and to celebrate their Olympic success.
We just lots of hockey sticks because, you know, Calgary loves hockey, Canada loves hockey. It's what it's about. Come and cheer on Canada.
The Maple Leaf Lounge is open for the duration of the Olympics, which end February 22nd. The Snow Days Festival is underway in Banff and Lake Louise, but the lack of winter weather is wrecking at least one event. The ice sculptures, part of Ice Magic, were supposed to be on display until Sunday, but they've been melting amid all this warmth, so organizers have removed them earlier than planned. Ticket holders are being contacted directly about the cancellation, but Banff Lake Louise Tourism says the Art of Ice competition is still going ahead, with 12 ice sculptors working live on their creations on Bear Street this weekend. There was probably a lot more melting in places today too, Gina.
Yeah, that's really going to continue throughout the weekend as well. In fact, this above seasonal trend really continues into next week, but we'll see those temperatures feel a little cooler, relatively speaking. But we're at 14 degrees right now. I mean, about an hour or so ago, we were sitting at 12 degrees. We anticipated that being the high for the day. Then we got those strong westerly winds just really ramping up, and that brought our high now to 15. We see those strong westerlies on the screen right now, and those warm winds are actually fueling some new monthly temperature records I'll talk about in our main weather hit coming up. But tonight we'll cool down to 3 degrees, nice clear setup. Winds a little calmer tomorrow, but still a nice double-digit high of 13 degrees, Tara.
Thank you, Gina. More than a dozen UCP members have been listed as supporters of a petition on separation, but whether they signed it or not remains unclear, as does the impact those political views could have on Alberta investors. Plus, it's going to be a busy summer for construction to replace a major water main. We'll tell you which community will feel the impact first. While Alberta's premier has said she supports remaining in Canada, more than a dozen members of her caucus have been listed as supporters of a petition on separation. Alicia Fieldberg joins us from McDougall Centre tonight. Alicia, we have asked these MLAs if they support Alberta independence.
Tara, most of those 19 MLAs we asked if they support this pro-separatist petition did not get back to us. Instead, we got a blanket response from the UCP caucus. Now, this lack of clarity is concerning for many people on both sides of the issue.
Last week, Albertans gathered in Calgary to sign a pro-separatist petition calling for a referendum. Now, the Republican Party of Alberta's website lists 19 UCP MLAs supporting that petition.
I know, vaguely that any number of MLAs have signed the petition.
Republican Party of Alberta says some MLAs indicated they do not support separation and were already removed from that list, adding, if UCP MLAs wish to turn their backs on the voters who elected them and who support independence, they can do so publicly. Albertans deserve to know who they will be campaigning with and against. One MLA on the current list says he doesn't support it.
I haven't signed the petition. What I would say is I think Canada can work. I think we have a tremendous opportunity to do some incredible things here in Alberta, but not without making sure that we are fighting for Alberta's best interests.
CTV contacted the other 18 MLAs but did not receive a response. Instead, the UCP caucus provided a statement saying citizen-initiated referendum petitions should be a grassroots process left to private citizens to sign, not elected officials. Alberta's premier often says she supports a strong and sovereign Alberta within a united Canada, but says many Albertans are upset about Justin Trudeau-era politics.
A million or more Albertans, based on the polling I've seen, who've lost hope in Canada. So my view is that my job and the Prime Minister's job is to give people hope back.
The group behind the petition thinks MLAs should be able to declare their support.
From my perspective, MLAs are being muzzled and they can't campaign, in favor of Alberta independence. Well, Danielle Smith runs around the country playing Federalist.
Some Albertans say the uncertainty about who supports separation could be damaging for the whole province. Calgary Chamber of Commerce says it could influence investment in Alberta.
Anything that introduces an element of uncertainty from an investment standpoint is not net positive for the province, and it's not good for the country either.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
The Canadian Bar Association says a demand made by Alberta's premier to do with the appointment of judges would compromise judicial independence. In a letter to the Prime Minister, Danielle Smith demanded more input on the selection of federal judges. She wrote the provincial government could hold back money for those appointed by Ottawa if her government didn't agree. The Canadian Bar Association says the proposal would compromise the appointment process. It adds that Smith's suggestion that courts don't reflect the values and expectations of Albertans underscores the political nature of her proposal. Federal Justice Minister Sean Fraser says he plans to maintain the current selection process. China's top court has overturned the death sentence for a BC man in a drug smuggling case. Robert Schellenberg was detained on drug charges in 2014. He was initially given 15 years in prison, but China retried him, saying his sentence was too lenient, and sentenced him to death instead. That was a month after Canadian authorities detained Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou on a warrant from the U.S. Today's ruling comes after Prime Minister Mark Carney visited China last month to boost trade ties.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Let's bring Gina back in now as we look ahead to our 5-day forecast. But the last 5 days have been pretty great. We're already setting records.
Exactly. And not just daily temperature records. Some areas in the province are now setting new monthly temperature records, including these places on the screen here: Lethbridge, Pincher Creek, Brooks. This week, they experienced highs that they've never experienced before in the month of February since records were kept, all the way back in some areas to 1902. So you'll see on the screen there, the previous record, we're dealing with just tenths of a degree here, but it's still been such a substantial stretch of heat. However, if you are in Claresholm, Staveley, and Tabor, you're still tied and top dog for the hottest February record in the entire province. You hit 24 degrees. That was all the way back February 27th, 1992. It was a windy day out there. We're feeling those winds right now in the city. They really picked up throughout the 5 o'clock hour, and we're still experiencing that. But areas like Lethbridge and Pincher Creek tomorrow are really going to see those winds pick up as the Chinook continues in that area with winds at 50 to 80 kilometers an hour. But speaking of that Chinook, I just wanted to zoom in here and show you how broad of a Chinook arch it was today. It was very uniform all the way up from Hinton down into Montana, spanning about 800 kilometers north to south consistently. So saw a lot of great pictures sent in today of that Chinook. We appreciate it. And tomorrow, again, Chinook winds prevailing through many areas in southern Alberta. 14 right now in Calgary, central Alberta. A little bit cooler, -1 in Edmonton, -3 for Red Deer. But tomorrow, if you're in the south, you're going to benefit from the Chinook once again with highs in the low to mid-teens. It's crazy to think this is February temperatures instead of June temperatures. There's a look at that ridge in your upper air pattern. Starts to break down gradually throughout Saturday, and you'll really start to feel the change on Sunday. And we get into a bit of a weird situation here where we're in between two jet streams, so a lot of variability, and it can be a little bit unpredictable as we head into next week exactly where things will land temperature and condition wise. Right now, models suggest we'll still be warmer and above seasonal and dry, but it doesn't take much to change in that upper air pattern for more cool air to move in and really influence the conditions as well. But taking a look at your Action Furnace 5-day forecast for now, we're favoring on the side of above seasonal with a little bit of flurry activity possible Sunday evening into Monday morning. But those temperatures, those highs at least, pretty consistently in the positives. The normal high for this time of year for the Calgary area is -1, and we really don't see that when it comes to our highs, though the lows will get back to below freezing, but not a lot of precipitation in the forecast for the next 5 days.
The Transportation Safety Board is recommending pilots give extra thought before performing risky maneuvers. It comes following a fatal crash near Red Deer last July. The TSB released its report after investigating the 2025 crash. A passenger was killed and the pilot was seriously injured. The report notes the descent of the helicopter was consistent with an auto rotation. That's an exercise that allows a helicopter to descend in a controlled manner after losing engine power. The TSB says no issues were found with the helicopter's engine. It says practicing auto rotations introduces extra risk to the flight and that pilots should carefully consider performing that exercise with passengers on board. The city is warning residents, especially in Bowness, it will be a busy summer of construction as crews replace a major water main. The city will use open cut construction to replace part of the Bearspaw South feeder main. That means a trench will be dug, affecting traffic in the area. Building Stage B of the line between 73rd Street and 87th Street Northwest will start in May and it will be completed in October. The city says this will lead to significant impacts for residents, including traffic, noise, parking, and access to local areas. The replacement of the entire line is scheduled to be done by the end of this year. Just ahead, a show of partnership and Arctic solidarity in the far north. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand officially opens Canada's Consulate in Greenland. And it's not quite as cold as Greenland, but chilly enough in northern Ontario for this weather phenomenon. Our trending videos are still to come. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand was in Greenland's capital city today for the official opening of a Canadian consulate. It's being welcomed as a show of solidarity for the Danish-held Arctic territory amid threats from Washington. CTV's Abigail Beeman has the latest.
This Canadian consulate was promised more than a year ago, and the Foreign Affairs Minister here to open it wouldn't directly answer when I asked her if she was concerned doing so could anger the Trump administration. And with that, the Canadian consulate in Greenland's capital is officially open.
To be able to be here when the people of Greenland are concerned and anxious is wonderful.
More than 100 people here, including members of the Coast Guard and a large number of Canadian Inuit who want to show they support Greenlanders in the face of Donald Trump's threats.
It's quite emotional. It's a great feeling. It's good to be here. Unity, Inuit, together, standing united.
As Inuit, we are one people. It doesn't matter which country we're from, we're all the same.
Now, Global Affairs Canada won't let us inside to actually show you what the interior of the consulate looks like, but we know that the Government of Canada shares this building with Iceland. There are not many countries that have a consulate here in Nuuk. France is also opening one.
I say congratulations to Canada. I think it's a smart move.
Many in Greenland still feel uneasy, even though the Trump administration has backed off threats to take over. CTV News asked a retired U.S. diplomat involved in the opening of the American consulate in Nuuk during the first Trump administration whether Canada's increased presence now could anger Trump.
Well, I think it's worth it. I mean, I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a move that should be taken as threatening by the United States, certainly in any way.
While the consulate was promised more than a year ago, there is still no permanent consul in place here. The Foreign Affairs Minister didn't have much to offer about that. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Nuuk, Greenland.
Russian authorities are looking for a suspect after a top general was shot several times on the outskirts of Moscow and rushed to hospital. Lieutenant General Vladimir Alexiev is the #2 ranking officer in Russia's military intelligence service. He was placed under EU and British sanctions after the service was accused of using a nerve agent in an attack in the UK in 2018. A touch of magic for would-be wizards everywhere is next. We'll meet the man behind the wand. Thousands of them, actually. That's next. Have you ever wondered where magic wands come from? It might surprise you to know some of the most unique custom-crafted spellcasters come from right here in southern Alberta. Kevin Green takes us inside the workshop of fantasy by numbers.
Inside this small Okotoks workshop, magic is made. Well, magic wands anyway, each one custom carved for an aspiring wizard.
Different woods, they all have different lores. You know, ash trees are always very revered and things like that, and cedar is very protective. And so there's all of this lore that's been built in.
The company's website also features a personality quiz to match magician to wand.
And then at the end, it will pick out one of our wand combinations to match your style, match your personality.
Despite being carved on a computerized milling machine, no two wands are alike. Brendan Rose built and programmed his own unit, allowing hundreds of millions of combinations.
I had to figure out how to, rather than just jumping to a lathe and making symmetrical, quick and easy symmetrical designs, it was how do I make this carve all of those same asymmetrical, detailed designs.
Jared Codd hand sands, stains, and polishes every one of them before they leave the shop.
Well, I'm the maker, so I make one and that becomes my favorite, and then I make another one and then that's my new favorite. So I've gone through a few.
The company's work also caught the attention of American movie chain Cinemark, which commissioned them to produce 10,000 wands for the theatrical release of Wicked.
I had to average, with 4 automated lathes, I had to average close to 250 to 300 wands a day in order to hit the target.
It took weeks of 18-hour days.
You would maybe end up with about 60 seconds where you could sit down or take a drink or swap off with somebody quick to go use the washroom.
With that behind them, the pair now hope to make their wands even more magical.
Swish of the wand, have, open your garage door, turn your lights on and off, turn your TV on, off, change your channel, whatever. And it's all up to you.
Further blurring the line between fantasy and reality for would-be wizards worldwide. Kevin Green, CTV News, Okotoks.
That's cool. Fantasy by Numbers is also the driving force behind the Enchanted Okotoks Festival held in September. We have more information on our website.
Great story,
neat.
eh?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, everybody loves pancakes, but these aren't the kind you're probably expecting to see. So as frigid temperatures grip Port Severn, that's about 40 minutes north of Barrie, Ontario, the rivers have begun forming pancake ice.
Oh.
The round floating discs are created by waves pushing tiny ice crystals together.
Well, don't eat them, though.
Don't eat them.
Don't eat them.
They'll be
right?
crunchy
Just
and cold, but they
look
look
at them, that's
cool.
It'd be good with a little maple syrup, though. It's kind of like that Quebec thing they do.
Absolutely. I agree. You could make it into a winter treat.
There you go.
Sure. That's neat. Many little kids want to have their own pet just for them. And this little girl has one and has a very unique friendship.
Everybody finds somebody someplace.
This is Bella and her pet snake Gizmo. They do everything together. They watch TV, they dance, they read, they cuddle, obviously. This dynamic duo just celebrated 4 years as BFFs. They even have a book about their friendship. Gizmo is a ball python, so not venomous.
Good.
Not dangerous.
Tara, I'm surprised you're putting that video on. To be quite honest
You know
with
that I don't like snakes. I found this fascinating that this little girl wants to cuddle her snake.
Yeah.
They are best friends.
They are best friends.
I'd like to see it in like a little long tubey sweater
like a
or
sweater.
something.
Sure, yeah, she might have clothes for it. You never know. Well, here's something you can do with your human friends this weekend. Okay, this is called the Post-it note dance-off for obvious reasons. So you get together, you stick all the little pieces of paper all over your body, and then you got to get them off without using your hands. So it's all about the moves.
I'm not doing that. My body would break.
Yeah, my back hurts just looking at this.
It would warm you up if you were cold. I mean, you really have to go for it to get all the stickies off you.
Wouldn't do much good if I'm broken, I know.
No, I suppose not, yeah.
Yeah, it's impressive. I'll give them that.
Well, still to come, new employment numbers are out for Canada. While job losses are up, the employment rate is down, with fewer people looking for work. We'll break down the stats next.
CTV Ski Report, brought to you by Sunshine Village, home of Canada's best snow and hottest lifts.
It's a little hard to see in your Skywatch shot here, but that Chinook is still Chinooking right now, and it's giving a bit of a wobble to the camera there with some decently strong westerly winds over the city right now. That fueled our temperatures today, pretty close to record-breaking, not quite there. We managed to get to a high of 15 degrees today, with the record of 16.4 set back in 1987. We're at 14 right now. Very warm out there still. Well above normal. We're going to continue this above seasonal trend throughout the weekend and even to next week. But you will start to see temperatures gradually getting into the single positive digits for highs. Looking at your 24-hour forecast, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. We'll drop down to 3 degrees tonight. Those winds will calm down too. Really nice start to the morning there, and then we'll see some building cloud a little later in the day. So a pretty similar pattern once again. Double-digit highs for Saturday. 13 in Calgary, 15 for the Lethbridge area, where the winds will be stronger from 50 to 80 kilometers an hour. A lot of precipitation getting to the mountains, but then drying out as it gets onto the eastern side of it. But the clouds will continue to develop throughout Sunday, and later Sunday we could even see some flurries as well, and those could linger into Monday morning. But temperatures, like I mentioned, above seasonal. That story doesn't change throughout the next several days here. Precipitation could be possible in the Pincher Creek area, like I mentioned, by Monday too, including the Lethbridge area as well. When we look at that 10-day trend, again, we kind of cool off here, but still remain well above that seasonal high of -1, Tara.
Thank you, Gina. There is still fear and frustration in a Northeast community, even after police met with residents to talk about a wave of extortion threats. It comes after a number of targeted attacks and threats. CPS say the goal of the meeting was open dialogue, explaining what extortion cases look like and how residents can protect themselves. Calgary police are investigating the theft of a plaque from the Kuntera Legacy Garden. The park is a tribute to 5 students who lost their lives after being attacked at a house party in 2014. And the Olympic cauldron is now burning at Canada Olympic Park. It's part of our Olympic legacy, dating back to 1988 when the Olympic Games were held here. The opening ceremony took place across several venues in Italy today, and that spread out setup will also define the athletic competition at this year's Games. CTV's Heather Butts explains.
Meeting this crew from the Netherlands, already a highlight for Ontario's Marga Wilson during her Olympic experience.
Bucket list, definitely. To see all the different athletes from all the different countries is so exciting.
The Olympic motto, after all, is about celebrating the unifying power of sport.
I'm hoping Canada goes gold, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you met some Czech hockey player at the airport yesterday. Yeah. So you did wish him luck, but secretly he said not too much luck.
A unique aspect of these games is how spread out the events are. Organizers wanted to use existing infrastructure as much as possible, but this means no central hub.
It's missing a little bit of snow, to be honest. Canada would be better to host them, but it's nice to be in the city. I feel like in the mountains it'll feel like more of the Winter Olympics here.
I was kind of hoping to see a little bit more like fan zones here.
And I didn't quite see that, but maybe they're just spread out more through like Cortina and Lavingo, so we'll see.
Competitions are taking place all over northern Italy, making this the most widespread Olympic sports setup in history. The games will span over 22,000 square kilometers. A trip between Milan and Cortina could take upwards of 6 hours. It means not all of Team Canada's athletes will be in the same village or region throughout the games.
You know, giving a high five to an athlete in another sport, or even the gentle smile when you're under such pressure, can make a huge difference.
Olympic champion and Canada's chef de mission Jennifer Heil admits it will be a different experience, but the team is turning to technology with video chats and highlight reels to help unite them.
I think there's a trade-off between, the positive and the negative. I think for the Olympic movement, it's very positive that we're going to venues that already exist that make it more sustainable and easier to host.
The last time Italy hosted the Winter Games in Turin 2006, medal ceremonies were held in the center of the city each day, creating a buzz, adding to the Olympic spirit. Because of the distance, this year, medal ceremonies will be held at the venues following the competitions. Heather Butts, CTV News, Milan.
Longtime Toronto Blue Jays broadcaster Buck Martinez has announced his retirement after 40 years with the franchise.
Thank you very much.
Martinez says he and his wife decided after the World Series that it was time to step out of the booth and enjoy the years ahead. The 77-year-old's career with the Blue Jays began in 1981 as a player and included a famous broken leg double play in 1985. Canada lost about 25,000 jobs in January. BNN Bloomberg's Marla Fernandez with more from the latest employment report.
The unemployment rate dropped to 6.5%, and that's because fewer people were looking for work. The manufacturing sector took a major blow in January. It shed 28,000 jobs. So it's no surprise that Ontario had the biggest drop in employment. The education sector lost 24,000 jobs, and public administration 10. Alberta had the biggest increase in employment, gaining 20,000 jobs. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 73.23. West Texas Intermediate is up to 63.55. Western Canadian Select is down almost $2 to 48.34. And the TSX recovered 476 points today to end the week at 32,470. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marla Fernandez.
The province's economy minister says the government will have to be strategic with its investments as the UCP prepares to deliver its next budget.
I see that we don't bring in a lot of revenue through taxation, but I also see that we're in a much better position than other jurisdictions around Canada for the way that we leverage the dollars that we do have.
The 2026 budget will be delivered later this month as the province faces lower oil prices and global economic uncertainty. Scow also told the Calgary Chamber that there's an opportunity to expand in the field of data centers, but that expansion needs to be balanced with grid stability and the environment. Medicine Hat City Council approved a $131 million budget to move forward with the 75-megawatt phase of the Samus Solar Project. But the construction is contingent on securing a power purchase agreement with a committed customer before that project moves further. The mayor says the project is to forecast enhanced dividends from its energy business. There will be no property tax increase or electric rate increase related to the project, with funding coming from the city's energy transition reserve and debt financing.
Medicine Hat has a bit of a unique history in energy, and regardless of where the electrons are coming from, we are in the energy business. And so, when we have an opportunity to increase our revenue to the municipal side, we want to make sure we're taking those.
The 75-megawatt phase is part of a larger approved 325-megawatt project north of Parkview Drive Northeast. If a buyer is secured, the project could be operational in 2028. A big game for the Calgary Wranglers tonight. Glenn will introduce us to the newest face to the roster and what he brings to the team. That's coming up. 40 hockey players are attempting to break a record for the world's longest hockey game just east of Edmonton. They've already been on the ice for more than 20 hours. The goal is to raise $1 million for cancer research.
I've had multiple family members that have played in this game and multiple family members that have been diagnosed with cancer in the past. So I'm playing for them. It's a big deal for our family to come out here and support the people that are also playing and that have been through cancer.
So far, the players are not even a tenth of the way to their goal. They're playing for the equivalent of 11 straight days of hockey. With the Calgary Flames on a break, the Calgary Wranglers take center stage. Now Glenn is back with us. And Glenn, it's an important game for the Wranglers tonight.
Well, Tara, right now, the Wranglers are on the outside looking in as far as a playoff spot is concerned. Tonight, they're going to face the Tucson Roadrunners, who hold down the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. And fans will get a chance to see the newest Wrangler tonight. The Calgary Wranglers acquired defenseman Gavin White from the Texas Stars in exchange for Jeremy Poirier. White's from Brockville, Ontario, and says he's excited to be back in Canada.
Yeah, I was pretty excited for the new opportunity, and growing up, in Canada, it's always been a dream to play in a Canadian franchise. And never been to Calgary before, but I've been here for a couple of days now and have nothing but good things to say about it, so pretty happy so far.
White was a fourth-round pick of the Dallas Stars in the 2022 NHL entry draft. He skates well, is a good defender, and can move the puck. White was looking for a change of scenery.
I think for me, life experience is a big thing, and in pro hockey, there's nothing better than moving around and seeing a bunch of different places and playing in different places. So taking Calgary off the list is pretty cool for experience for myself.
White's already suited up in one game for the Wranglers. That was in Bakersfield earlier this week. Head coach Brett Sutter thinks he can help the team.
He adds a little bit of a different dynamic that we didn't have back there. So he's able to get back to pucks really quick. He's able to transition quick. And then his defending, he's able to close really quick. And those are all things that we really value with our team. So I think in the short time we've had him, we've liked what we've seen and look forward to continue to work with him.
The Wranglers get another boost as both Hunter Brustevich and Matvei Gridin have been sent down. They're here while the Flames are on the Olympic break. And this is what the Flames want them to work on.
Just say be the best player out there and be ready for a call-up.
Just keep the same pace, keep building on that, keep playing fast, create more offense, and keep doing what I've been doing, just keep building every day.
The Wranglers enter the night just 3 points back of Tucson, so obviously a very important game. An update now on Penn State forward Gavin McKenna. Prosecutors say they are withdrawing the felony aggravated assault charge against him. McKenna, who's from Whitehorse, was involved in an incident outside a pub on January 31st in State College. McKenna's accused of punching another man in the face, resulting in the victim suffering multiple jaw fractures, which later required surgery. McKenna's in the running to go first overall in this year's NHL entry draft.
Thank you, Glenn. All right, final peek at the weather.
Yeah, I think it'd be a missed opportunity if I didn't show a picture of the Chinook that we saw today. This was such a really well-pronounced Chinook. It extended from up in Hinton all the way down into parts of Montana, just this one consistent Chinook arch. And I found this shot that Kat took particularly interesting with the undulations there. And your weather window is brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. More Chinook-like conditions tomorrow. It won't be as windy in the Calgary area, but we'll still benefit from some warm westerlies with a high of 13 degrees. Then we trend a little bit in the downwards direction throughout the rest of the weekend and into next week. Not a lot of precipitation on tap, but we could see some flurries enter the city on Sunday evening and into Monday morning.
Hopefully a little brighter, too. Today was weirdly dark.
Yeah, it was kind of like a light switch on and off with those clouds.
Totally.
But yeah, I think we'll get a bit more of that sunshine for tomorrow.
Thank you, Gina. For breaking news anytime, go to our website, ctvnewscalgary.ca. Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great weekend.